The New York Rangers have some clear defensive issues, so we're going to take a look at two defensemen from the Calgary Flames who I think will be traded as they are both expiring contracts, as the Calgary Flames right now aren't the best team and are more than likely going to be sellers and selling quite a bit as well. So we're going to take a look at two D-men here, one left-handed D-man and one right-handed D-man who I think would be great additions to this D-core and could really help out with the defensive issues that we really have seen over the last few games. The first guy we're going to take a look at here is Chris Tanev. He is a really tough defenseman. He will literally dive face first to block a shot. He will block anything. He'll hit anyone. He'll fight anyone. He'll battle in the corners. He'll play some great defensive hockey. And I think this is a guy who the Rangers really need to target. Now, he is going to be one of the hottest commodities on the trade market come this deadline. I mean, there's not too many elite players out there, so a guy like Chris Tanev, who is a great top 4 D-man, is going to be one of the best options available on the back end, and I do think he's going to cost a decent amount, but I think this is a guy who the Rangers really do need to target. We have seen how many issues defensively we have had, whether it is the forwards turning the puck over or our defensemen doing it in their own zone. That is a big issue with this team, and I think overall, this team just needs another really solid defensive defenseman added in there, and maybe you'd rather see this team go for more of a cheaper option on the back end and then go out there and get a top 6 forward, for example. That's also a possibility, but I do think if this team truly wants to be a real Stanley Cup threat, adding in a guy like Chris Tanev could help this team out a ton. Taking a look here, though, at his stats, I mean, so far this season, he does have 37 games played, 1 goal, 6 assists, 7 points, which isn't bad at all. I mean, those are pretty solid numbers. And also, something interesting here is with how physical he is, with how tough he is, he does only have 10 penalty minutes so far this season, which honestly is not bad at all. He's also already got 106 block shots, which is fantastic. Those are some great numbers there. He almost is averaging 3 block shots per game, which is very, very good to see. He's also got 11 takeaways, 24 giveaways. 20 of them are in the defensive zone, but obviously the Calgary Flames aren't the best team this year, so they kind of are inflated a bit. Last year only had 27 total. The year before that had 45, then 47. So I don't think this is as bad as if he would come to the Rangers. Obviously, I'm sure he'd tighten up a bit more in that sense. But either way, he's a really solid defensive defenseman who would be a great add for this team and could really help out on the back end of things. Taking a look here at the last stat, though, his Corsi and Fenwick percentages, they have gone down by quite a bit from last year, but I think if he comes to the Rangers, like I said, same kind of thing with obviously the other numbers as well. I think they're going to go up a bit, going to a much better team like the Rangers, obviously compared to the Flames. So is Corsi this year at 43% and is Fenwick at 45%. Take a look at last year, they were both at 54%. So I would imagine that if he does get traded to the Rangers or another great team like the Leafs or Canucks or whatever team it is, those numbers will probably go up a lot. And taking a look here at the next defenseman from the Calgary Flames here, we have Noah Hanifin. Now, he is a left-handed D-man who's more of a two-way guy, but I think he'd be a bit easier of a fit into the lineup here because he is a lefty. You can pretty much just kind of knock down Eric Gustafsson to that 7th D-man spot and then have a guy like Hanifin potentially go up to that top pair alongside Adam Fox and then move Lindgren down potentially to that 3rd pair alongside Braden Schneider to give him a more defensive defenseman alongside him than a guy like Eric, who is obviously more of an offensive guy. That could really help round out the D-core there, and have a guy like your Gustafsson as that 7th D-man is not a bad idea at all. And a guy like Noah Hanifin, though, is currently playing top-line minutes with the Calgary Flames, so I think this is a guy who we really should be looking to target as well. One of these guys would be great ads. I think more than likely it would be Hanifin because he's a lefty, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. And all of this is speculation, and we'll have to see what happens, whether or not this actually happens. But I think adding one of these guys would be a great idea. And Hanifin, though, he is a really, really good two-way guy. There are some similarities in, I would say, his and Jacob Trouba's game. Big hitter, good defensively, decent offensively as well. I mean, definitely not too bad at all. He can put up some decent points, and that is also a plus with him as well. As so far this year in 40 games played, he does have 932 minutes played, which is a lot, but he also has 6 goals, 13 assists for 19 points, and does have 9 primary assists and only 4 secondaries. Not too bad at all. He only has 18 penalty minutes, so for a guy as physical as he is, who fights a lot as well, 18 penalty minutes is not too bad at all. He's got 61 block shots, so not nearly as many as a guy like Tanev does, but it's still over a block per game. Not too bad. Next up here, taking a look at the takeaways and giveaways. He has 25 takeaways this season, 37 giveaways, and 32 of them are defensive zone giveaways. So not the best, but same thing with Tanev. You compare it to last year, he only had 36. So he's already almost hit that total, and obviously only 40 games played this year compared to 81 last year. So I do think that, again, same thing with Tanev. If he does go to a much better team, which I'd imagine he's going to, I would imagine these numbers are going to go up a ton. Taking a look here at another stat here, the Corsi and Fenway percentages, same thing with a guy like Tanev. They're both down from last year by a decent amount, but again, if they go to a much better team, I would imagine these numbers are going to go up a ton. So this year so far, his Corsi is at a 49% and his Fenwick is at a 50%. So not terrible, but compared to last year at 53%, it'll obviously get better once he does get moved to a better team. I mean, take a look at the last couple years as well. 56% in 2021 for both, and then 53 again in 2020. He's proven to be a really good D-man, and when he is on an actual playoff caliber team, like the Calgary Flames are obviously not right now, but they have been in the past couple years, I would imagine these numbers will go up by quite a bit. Anyways, though, let me know what you guys think about these kind of players. Do you want to see the Rangers go after a top 4 D-man like a Chris Tanev or a top pairing guy like a Hanifin? Or do you want to see them go after, a cheaper option on the back end of things, go for a, kind of more of a bottom pairing player, and then go out there and get a, much better player like a top 6 forward like an Elias Lindholm? Because it is possible that they can make things work to get an Anthony Duclair alongside one of these two players. That I think that is a possibility that they could look to do. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I mean, we're still a ways away from the trade deadline, but the Rangers have some clear defensive issues, and adding in one of these guys would definitely help that out a ton. Anyways, though, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, smash the like button and subscribe for daily New York Rangers content.